kids, nothing lasts forever. And in some ways, that's a good thing. Well, it's the last day of school, and it sounds like someone's at the door. Yes, it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be mine? Won't you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty hood. Neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Would you be mine? I have always wanted to live in a neighborhood just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful thing. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Would you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you be? Please won't you be? Please won't you be my neighbor? Welcome to the neighborhood. Hello, neighbor. Well, you'll never guess what I've brought to show you today. It's actually my high school yearbook from 1999. I wanted to give you some advice in your last day of school, so I thought I would start by looking at maybe some of the advice that people gave to me when I was graduating from high school. Oh, here's one. Derek, I don't have a lot of time to write. Good luck. Try another one. Derek, I hate writing in these, so have a good summer. I guess this isn't going to be that helpful. Ooh, look at this. Furby, the hottest new toy of the year, has 6 built-in sensors that allow it to respond to touch, light, sound, motion, or its horizontal or vertical positioning. It speaks its own language known as Furbish, but can also be taught English as well as other tricks. That's pretty cool. So, what advice do I have to give you on your last day of high school? Well, I've been thinking over the last couple months about my childhood and how I used to like to watch the show The Joy of Painting with Bob Ross. Frequently we would watch the show at my grandparents' house, and Bob would be painting a picture, and he would take out the fan brush and he would start making some pine trees, and everything was going good. And then he'd grab the knife and he'd take the Van Dyke brown and he'd start cutting these big globs of brown into the base of the painting. My grandpa, who was watching along with us, would always go, "He just ruined it!" But sure enough, by the end of the episode, Bob Ross had turned it into a beautiful painting. See, if you just get a snapshot of something and you can't see the whole picture, sometimes you can be really frustrated and think, what the heck is going on? And that's how our lives are a lot of times. We can't see the whole picture. And as I was thinking about that, it made me think, I've always wanted to start a show like Bob Ross. A show called The Joy of Graphing with Mr. Dewey. I wonder what that would be like. Hello, friends, and welcome to The Joy of Graphing with Mr. Dewey. Let's take a few minutes and put together a delightful little graph. I'm going to start over here, quadrant 4. Actually, let's go to quadrant 2. And I think we're going to get a little hyperbolic here. You know what I want to do? It's my world and I can kind of do what I want here. I think I'm going to make a little removable discontinuity right now. Just sneak it in there. Ah, there it is. Little removable discontinuity. You don't have to do that, but I thought let's just have a little fun with this. All right, now where do we want to go? maybe we should come over here, across the y-axis. Let's go down here. And I thought maybe we could do a piecewise function. Actually, I'm not going to do a piecewise function. I used to be in a band called Piecewise Function back in the 70s. I'm going to actually do something even better. I'm going to make a non-removable discontinuity. Look at that. Little vertical asymptote right here. Where do we want to pick that up? Oh, maybe let's come from infinity right up here. We'll head out just like that. Right, that's the problem with a lot of today's youth, is they don't know their asymptotes from a hole in the graph. This reminds me of when I lived back in Alaska, and we used to graph snow depths on whale skin canvas. Just remember, it's your graph. You can use whatever you want, but when you're done, make sure you always take time to clean out your marker and beat the devil out of it.
And now, Deep Thoughts by Jack Andy.
I remember how my great Uncle Jerry would sit on the porch and whittle all day long. Once he whittled me a toy boat out of a larger toy boat I had. It was almost as good as the first one, except now it had bumpy whittle marks all over it and no paint because he had whittled off all the paint. Too bad Lassie didn't know how to ice skate, because then if she was in Holland on vacation in winter and someone said, "Lassie, go skate for help," she could do it. I guess if I was starving to death, I would eat a dog, but not a collie, because I don't like the taste of a collie. As I walked through the woods, I looked up and saw a squirrel. I smiled and he smiled. At least I think it was a smile. My teeth were showing, my cheeks were pulled up. That's a smile, isn't it? The squirrel was definitely smiling. Whenever I need to get away, I just get away in my mind. I go to my imaginary spot where the beach is perfect and the weather's perfect. There's only one bad thing there. The flies. They're terrible. They say the mountain holds many secrets, but the biggest is this. I'm a fake mountain. Probably one of the worst things about being a genie in a magic lamp is a little thing called lamp stench. Once, I was passing a roadside fruit stand, and I stopped to ask for directions. There was an old grizzled farmer there with a face that looked like he'd seen many things in his life. I asked him which way to go. He paused for a moment, then took out a handkerchief and wiped his brow. I don't know what he said, because I just peeled out. I don't have time for guys to pull out handkerchiefs. Here's a tip. If you decide to take apart a bird's nest to see how it's made, first make sure it's not somebody's basket they got in South America. If you're a horse and someone gets on you and falls off and then gets right back on you, I think you should buck them off right away. It's too bad cowboys didn't eat much pizza back in the Old West, because I think a good painting would be a cowboy giving his last slice to his horse. When I found the skull in the woods, the first thing I did was call the police, but then I got curious about it. I picked it up and started wondering, who was this person? And why he had deer horns? Like jewels in a crown, the precious stones glittered in the queen's round metal hat. I'd like to see a guy tap dancing so fast his legs actually broke, because he would finally establish a tap barrier, and we could move on from there. So since this is my final video, I wanted to leave you all with some final words, some heartfelt cliches. So some of you I've known for more than even 4 years. Maybe I coached you in middle school basketball or middle school soccer. Many of you I had in 9th grade. But to those of you that I have only known virtually over these last couple months, I just want to say that you can be assured that the camera adds at least 10 pounds. But to all of you, I want to say good luck in the future. I want you to think of things in life as happening for you and not to you. And I want you to think that you cannot see the whole finished product. So when things happen, it's just one step in the process. It's one new challenge for you. And you are all the kind of kids that are up for challenges. You made it through a lot this year, and you're going to do a lot of great things in the future. And you're going to stay in touch, and I'm excited to hear about all the cool things you do. So take care. Have a great summer. See you guys.